Hey guys, what's up? How you doing? I hope you're doing great and amazing. ازيكم يا شباب عاملين ايه؟ بتكونوا كويسين. هنكمل مع بعض ان شاء الله كورس القراءة. I know been a little bit on and off on this. لكن طبعا في ناس كتير محتاج نكمل كورس القراءة. تمام، وهنكمله ان شاء الله. احنا خلاص قربنا نخلص Diary of the Wimpy Kid series 1. اوكي or book 1. تمام، طبعا وصلنا فيه دلوقتي لحوالي اكتر من 50 كلمة واكسبريشن طبعا جداد ومستخدمين، بنستخدمهم في كلامنا، بنستخدمهم في السبيكنج، بنستخدمهم في شورت ستوريز. تمام، فانت طبعا لازم كورس مهم جدا 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 لاي حد بيتعلم انجلش. طبعا سواء beginner سواء متوسط سواء advanced level، يعني gonna help you a lot. طبعا طالما انت في مرحلة ال learning process لسه. اوكي، فانت لازم تقرا، لازم تسمع كتير. اهم حاجه listening، اهم حاجه listening and listening is 80% of the time. Reading طبعا يعني 20% and speaking طبعا is like more like 20-30% every single day. تمام، فمتقسمها كده: انت بتسمع حاجة كل يوم، تقرأ حاجة كل يوم، بتتفرج على حاجة كل يوم بالانجلش، وطبعا بتجمع من كل ده او بتعرف معلومة جديدة او حاجة جديدة، كلمة جديدة، كلمتين، whatever، او بتعلم اي حاجة جديدة كل يوم طبعا، ومع الممارسة عشان تستخدم الكلام ده وما تنساهوش. ده اهم حاجة، ان انت لو حفظت كلام الطريقة التقليدية بتاعتنا ديّة هتنساها. أوكي، فدي أفضل طريقة لحفظ الكلمات، اللي أنت تدوّر على الكلمة بديكشنري English لازم تعرفها بالEnglish، ما تترجمش عربي، جوجل هيوديك في داهية. فيعني لازم تعرف الكلمة بالEnglish، مرادف ليها كذا مرادف عشان تعرف تعبّر عن نفسك بعد كده بالEnglish وتفكّر بالEnglish. وده اللي ناس كتير طبعًا بتلاقوا أو students كتير بتتعلم اللغة ولكن بتفكّر بالعربي، فمحتاجين إن أنت تفكّر بالEnglish، ودي طبعًا الsecrets ما حدش هيقول لك عليها. أوكي، فطبعًا بنقدّم الcourse ده، ممكن تتفرّج على سلسلة كاملة على يوتيوب. alright so طبعًا وصلنا دلوقتي حوالي 7 sessions، يعني 7 sessions، وخدنا 7 sessions وخلّصناهم، ودي الsession التامنة بإذن الله. أوكي، طيب let's go. طبعًا page 161 we reached this level. okay I'm gonna put the link. أكيد هاحط لكم اللينك بتاع تحميل السلسلة كلها مع طبعًا الnotes file اللي إحنا بنكتب فيه إن شاء الله. أوكي، طبعًا لو عاوزه just اكتب comment done. أوكي، اعمل لايك للفيديو ما تنساش، عشان هاحط لكم اللينكات والماتيريال دي كلها طبعًا already موجودة في الdescription كلها، كل الكورسات، كل الfree material الموجودة أو اللي أنت محتاجها already في الEnglish أو لتعلم الEnglish ورحلتك التعليمية، هتلاقيها كلها باللينكات بتاعتها. أوكي، بالترتيب. طيب let's go guys, let's get started. Tuesday. So of course it's Tuesday in American English, it's called Tuesday. Okay, لكن مش Tuesday، لا احنا بنقولها في American English Tuesday. Tuesday. So today was our first day as safety patrol. So as you طبعا you know, the kid. Okay, so he is so طبعا he's going to a safety patrol, him and Rolly, his friend. Okay, me and Rolly don't technically have stations like all the other patrols, so that means we don't have to stand out in the freezing cold for an hour before school. But that didn't stop us from coming to the cafeteria for the free hot chocolate they hand out to the other patrols before homeroom. Okay, so they just go to the cafeteria, right? Which is the cafe. طبعاً بنختصر له cafe. Okay, another great perk, another great advantage. We took perk before. This advantage is that you get to show up 10 minutes late for first period. I'm telling you, I've got it made with this safety patrol thing. So at 12:15, me and Rolly left the school and walked into the kindergartner's home. The whole trip ate up 45 minutes. Ate up 45 minutes, like, just it ate from the time. And there were only 20 minutes of pre algebra left when we got back. Walking the kids home was no sweat, but one of the kindergartners started to smell a little funny, and I think maybe he had an accident in his pants. So he tried to let me know about it, but I just stared straight ahead and kept walking. I'll take these kids home. But believe me, I didn't sign up for any diaper duty. Diaper, duty. It's Strange's diaper. Okay, the kid diaper. All right, as you can see. So it smells so bad. So let's get to the other month, which is February. Wednesday. Today it snowed for the first time this winter, and school was canceled. We were supposed to have a test in pre algebra, and I have kind of slacked off ever since. I became a safety patrol, so I was psyched. Psyched. Okay. So slack off. Slack off is an phrasal verb. أو phrasal verb معانا اهوت. Okay. Fun, which is very, very important. Slack off to not study and just mess around. انت ما تذاكرش طبعا وتقعد تتسكع كده. Okay. هي معناها slack off. ان انت تتسكع. Okay. So slack off. Ever since I became a safety patrol, so I was psyched. Psyched. So we didn't really get the mark or the high mark in. He didn't really get the high mark in. What the heck? Are you playing with me? Okay, I think it's playing with me, guys. Okay, you go to the Merriam-Webster. أهم حاجة قاموس dictionary English. Let's see the meaning of it. Why not? بس طبعا ممكن تلاقي slack off meaning بتاعها. It's totally okay. وممكن ت طبعا slack off قلنا لو slack off لو ما لقيتش المينينج اوكي للكلمة. تمام. نعمل على جوجل طبعا بتحط الاكسبريشن او الايديوم وتعمل مينينج هيجي لك المينينج بالظبط. اما طبعا كلمه زي دي psych. see the word sick. psych. طبعا pronunciation هنا ممكن تفكروا sick ولكن هو psyched. اوكي طبعا اهو psyched و psyching. alright so the verb طبعا وتصريفه. so it's like psychoanalyze. So to anticipate correctly the intentions or actions of. outguess. Outguess to analyze or figure out something. يعني تحلل حاجة such as a problem or course of action. I psyched it all out by myself and decided. I psyched it all. Like I figured it all. Right? I figured it out. I analyzed it. Okay, let's get to the synonyms, right? I always like to see synonyms like brace, nerve, poise, ready, steel, strengthen, fortify, for rear, right? So again, I'm gonna take brave, brace, poise for me, guys. Okay, I'm just gonna also type the definition here to figure out or analyze something, right? Then equals brace, nerve, poise. Okay. So I was psyched. So I've kind of slacked off ever since I became a safety patrol. So I was psyched. Psyched then I was ready. I knew right about this. Okay. So I called Rolly and told him to come over. Me and him have been talking about building the world's biggest snowman for the past couple of years now. And when I say the world's biggest snowman, I am not kidding. Our goal is to get into the Guinness book, so the Guinness book of world records, most what Guinness, do you know it? But every time we've gotten serious about going for the record, all the snow has melted and we've missed our window of opportunity. So this year, I wanted to get us started right away. When Rolly came over, we started rolling the first snowball to make the base. The base. Okay, قاعدة. I figured the base was going to have to be at least 8 feet tall on its own if we wanted to have a shot at breaking the record. But the snowball got real heavy. and we had to take a bunch of breaks in between rolls so we could catch our breath like that. So it's very heavy, like grunt, wheeze. So during one of our breaks, mom came outside to go to the grocery store. Okay, so محل بقالة. But our snowball was blocking her car in, so we got a little free labor out of her. So she's not like selected out. After our break, me and Rolly pushed that snowball until we couldn't push it any further. But when we looked behind us, we saw the mess we had made. Mess, as we know, like a whole mess, chaos we had made. All right. So the snowball had gotten so heavy that it tore up all the sod Dad had just laid down this fall. So I was hoping it would snow a few more inches and cover up our tracks, but just like that, it stopped snowing. They're just bad luck. They're unlucky. Our plan to build the world's biggest snowman was starting to fall apart. Just fall apart, something, to fail. Fall apart means fail. Okay. Every time it snows, the kids from Worley Street use our hill for sledding. So even though this isn't their neighborhood. So tomorrow morning, when the Worley Street kids come marching up our hill, me and Rolly are going to teach those guys a lesson. To teach someone a lesson, is to just kick his ass. When I take the person's, to want to make the person or teach a guy lesson is to kick his ass. Okay. All right. So Thursday, when I woke up this morning, the snow was already starting to melt. Okay, bidoob. So I told Rolly to hurry up and get down to my house. While I was waiting for Rolly to show up, I watched Manny trying to build a snowman out of the piddly crumbs of snow that were left over from our snowball. I was actually kind. It was actually kind of pathetic. Pathetic. So something pathetic like equals humiliating. مو like to get another meaning for it guys. Pathetic. مشفق على حد يعني. Okay. Pathetic is actually having a capacity to move one to either compassionate, or contemptuous pity. Yeah, as pity. Yeah, pathetic comes from pity as a noun. Okay, absurd, pathetic costume, absurd, سخيف, silly, or laughable, kind of pathetic. So he means it this way, so it's just piteous, miserable, poor, pitiful, pitiful. Okay, or you can say as well. I looked at this word. This miserable. I know miserable, of course. Miserable and poor. You see a guy like looks pathetic, so it's kind of pathetic for sure. I really couldn't help doing what I did next. Unfortunately for me, right at that moment, Dad was at front window. So Dad was already mad at me, like really angry at me, for tearing up the sod. So I knew I wasn't for it. I heard the garage door open and I saw Dad coming outside. He marched right out carrying a snow shovel. Okay, like shovel, fast. All right, and I thought I was going to have to make a run for it. So, but Dad was heading for my snowball, not me. And in less than a minute, he reduced all our hard work to nothing. Reduced, decreased. The same meaning as decrease. Reduce, decrease. Right? So, Rolly came by a few minutes later. I thought he might actually get a kick out for what happened. But I bet he had his heart set on rolling that snowball down the hill. And he was really mad. But get this, Rolly was mad at me for what Dad did. I told Rolly he was being a big baby and we got in a shoving match. Right when it looked like we were going to get in an all out fight, we got ambushed from the street. Definitely get ambushed, like we got trapped. Okay, كمين, ambush. Ambush يعني كمين or trap. أخ. Okay, so it was a hit and run by the whirly street kids. Hit and run, So they kicked their ass. They taught them a lesson instead. And if Mrs. Levan, my English teacher, was there, I'm sure she would have said the whole situation was ironic. Ironic? يعني مثير للسخرية. Ironic. Ironic. Okay. So there's another word for ironic actually. Another synonym for it. Shall we? Relating to, containing to, irony. Irony, ironic. Okay, so irony is سخرية نفسها. This is the noun. You can also write that down, guys. This is adjective. So the noun is irony. Okay. And so sarcastic, another synonym for it, sarcastic, ironic, sardonic. So, but we know sarcastic is the most common one. Sarcastic implies an intentional inflicting of pain by deriding, taunting, or ridiculing. Critic known for his sarcastic remarks. So when someone's sarcastic, so the sarcasm comes from sarcasm. So sarcastic and is equal to sarcasm as well. سخرية. But the teacher, his English teacher, actually was, if she was there, she would have said the whole situation was ironic. Okay, so Wednesday today at school, they announced that there is an opening for this cartoonist job in the school paper. There is only one comic slot, and up until now, this kid named Brian Little has been hugging it all to himself. Brian had this comic called Wacky Dog. And when it started off, it was actually pretty funny. But lately, Brian's been using his strap to handle his personal business. I guess that's why they gave him the axe. Give someone the axe, just make him responsible. This is an idiom, by the way. Give, when you give someone or somebody the axe, being to be responsible. Okay, ومسؤول عن حاجة, responsible for something. Okay, definitely. So wacky dog. Hey, wacky dog, say something funny. Actually, I have something serious on my mind today. Susan Lim, if you're reading this, Brian is very sorry he kissed your best friend Rachel behind the lockers. He hopes you can find it in your heart to forgive him. PS. PS طبعا guys احنا قلناها قبل كده. Okay, post script after you say something, بعد ما تقول اي حاجه اوكي او تكتب اي حاجه. PS ديت يعني حاجه مش متعلقه بالمسج اللي انت كتبتها. وزي post script يعني بعد ما تكتب حاجه. Barry Palmer, you still owe Brian $5, you bum. Okay, so this is something is called PS. Okay, بتكتبها بعد المسج already ما قلتها يعني او قال لها مسج هنا Brian Little. Okay, sent something. And then كتب حاجة تانية خالص متعلقة بواحد تاني وهي Barry Palmer, you still owe Brian $5. So as soon as I heard the news, I knew I had to try out. Wacky Dog made Brian Little a celebrity, a famous person at our school, and I wanted to get in on some of that kind of fame. So I had to taste, or I had a taste of what it's like to be famous at my school when I won honorable mention in this anti-smoking contest they had. Contest means the same meaning as competition. All I did was trace a picture from one of Roderick's heavy metal magazines. Trace يعني يتعقب. But luckily, no one ever found out. No one ever discovered that. Don't smoke for, or you'll kill, or you'll look like me. This is actually funny. So the kid who won first place is named Chris Carney. And what kind of kicks me off, again, kicks me off. He use it all the time, by the way, guys. لازم تكتبها kick off, kick some or kick somebody off or kick off somebody. اوكي طبعا ده expression صح؟ نجيبه ازاي؟ كاتبين kick off meaning and it just pops right away. So to kick off, okay, to be started or resumed by a player kicking the ball from the center spot. Kick off طبعا معناها بداية زي ما قلنا قبل كده. When you kick off, you start a match, or informal, and especially British, become very angry, suddenly start an argument or fight. I don't want her kicking off at me again. To kicking her off, I want to her kicking off at me again. Kicking off like makes me angry, so become very angry or suddenly start an argument or fight. So kick off. Especially British, by the way, but yeah, they use it here as well. No problem. So kicks me off. What kicks me off? Yeah, bother me. So it makes me or become angry, right? Or ready to start a fight. Definitely. Okay. Cool. So So what kind of kicks me off is that Chris smokes at least a pack of cigarettes a day. Don't smoke it, just a joke. Cool. Thursday, me and Rolly decided to team up and do a cartoon together. So after school today, he came over to my house and we got to work. We banged out a bunch of characters real quick, but that turned out to be the easy part. When we try to think up some jokes, some kidding, مزحة أو نكتة, we kind of hit a wall. They didn't find any jokes. I finally came up with a good solution. I made up a cartoon where the punchline, the main idea of every strap is Zooey Mama. So that way we wouldn't get bogged down with having to write an actual jokes. So we could focus on the pictures. So for the first couple of straps, I did the writing and drew the characters, and Rolly drew the boxes around the pictures. Step on a crack, break your mama's back. Yeah, right. Hey, Timmy, your mother slipped on a banana, a peel, and P.S. She's dead. Zooey Mama. So it's kind of like it's not that funny. Rolly started complaining that he didn't have enough to do, so I let him write a few of the strips. So, but to be honest with you, there was a pretty obvious drop in quality once Rolly started doing the writing. I've been waiting 3 hours to get a hamburger. Finally, one hamburger, please. I'm sorry, sir. We're all sold out. Zoe Mama. So it's not kind of funny at all. Eventually, I got kind of sick. So I got sick or sick of or got tired of the Zoe Mama idea, and I pretty much literally take over the whole operation. And believe it or not, Rolly's drawing skills are worse than his writing skills. Oops, I stepped in a puddle. At least it's not an acid puddle. It's an acid puddle. Zoe Mama. It's crazy. I told Rolly maybe we should come up with some new ideas, but he just wanted to keep writing Zoe Mamas. Then he packed up his comics and went home, which was fine by me. I don't really want to be partnered up, partnered up. So partner becomes a partner, just a mate up with a kid who doesn't draw noses anyway. Friday. After Rolly left yesterday, I really got to work on some comics. I came up with this character called, Kraton, this Kraton, and I got on a roll. So, yeah, hi, my name is Kraton. No, it isn't your name. No, it isn't. Your name is Steward Pet. Oops, hi, I'm stupid. It's really crazy. It's not funny at all. These guys are suck. Yeah. So these guys sucks. I must have banged out 20 straps and I didn't have break a sweat or didn't have even break a sweat. So I didn't have like it was too easy for him. I wonder what is in this cute little box. That's another box. It's a brick. You dumb moron. Took moron before and dumb. The same thing. Oops, I have been trying to open it all day. Doctor, could I have a new butt? My old one has a crack in it. Creighton, I told you a million times everyone's butt has a crack in it. Oh yeah, I forgot. Really, really not cool. The great thing about these this cretin or comics, is that with all the idiots running around my school, I will never run out of new material. So when I got to school today, I took my comics to Mr. Iris' office. He's the teacher who runs the school newspaper. But when I went to turn my strips in, I saw that there was a pile of comics from other kids who were trying out for the job. Most of them were pretty bad, so I wasn't too worried about the competition. Don't walk near our lunch table. Tyler Green. Yeah, you're not even cute. So it's really crazy, guys. All bad. I'm gonna do this and jump, or I'm gonna do this right and jump. You do watch out for the telephone wire. Here I go. Darn, bunk. I sure, I sure am glad I wore my helmet. This is really crazy. One of the comics was called Dumb Teachers. Oh my god! And it was written by this kid named Bill Tret. Bill is always at detention, or in detention. Yeah, so it's always like just going off school. So I guess he has a bone to pick with just about every teacher in the school, including Mr. Era. So I'm not too worried about the chances of Bill's comic getting in either. Hey, Mr. Era, you pooped your pants again. Oh my god. There were actually one or two decent comics, like acceptable comics, in the bin. Bin, which is the trash can. But I slipped them under a pile of paperwork on Mr. Iris' desk. Hopefully, those ones won't turn up until I am in high school. Thursday. Today, during morning announcements, I got the news I was hoping for. The new cartoonist for the school paper is Greg Heffley. The paper came out today at lunchtime and everyone was reading it. I really wanted to pick up a copy to see my name in print, but I decided to just play it cool for a while instead. I sat at the end of the lunch table so there would be plenty of room for me to start signing autographs for my new fans. But nobody was coming over to tell me how great my comic was, and I started to get the feeling something was wrong. I grabbed a paper and went into the bathroom to check it out, and when I saw my comic, I practically had a heart attack. Mr. Era told me he had made some minor edits to my comic. I thought he just meant he fixed its spelling mistakes and stuff like that, but he totally butchered it. Like, he killed it. The comic he ruined was one of my favorite ones, too. In the original, Cretin is taking a math test and he accidentally eats it. And then the teacher yells at him for being such a moron. By the time Mr. Era was done with it, you practically couldn't recognize it the same strap. So creating the curious student teacher, if x plus 43 equals 89, then what would x be? Curriculum x would be 46. Thanks, kids. If you want to learn more about math, be sure to visit Mr. Humphrey during this office hours. That's not even a comic. So I'm pretty sure I won't be signing autographs anymore soon or anytime soon. Teacher's pet. So in March, so we got to March, guys. So Wednesday, me and Rolly were enjoying our hot chocolate in the cafeteria, and with the rest of the patrols today. And there was an announcement on the loudspeaker. Rolly Jefferson report to Mr. Wensky's office immediately. Rolly went down to Mr. Weniski's office, and when Rolly came back 15 minutes later, he looked pretty shaken up. Apparently, obviously, Mr. Weniski got a call from a parent who said they witnessed Rolly terrorizing the kindergartners when he was supposed to be walking them home from school, and Mr. Weniski was really mad about it. So Rolly said Mr. Weniski yelled at him for about 10 minutes and said his actions disrespected the badge. I think it might, or I might just know what this is all about. Last week, Rolly had to take a quiz during fourth period, so I walked to the kindergarten's home on my own. So it had rained that morning, and there were a lot of worms on the sidewalk. So I decided to have some fun with the kids. Okay, but some neighbors lady or neighborhood lady saw that I was doing, and she yelled at me. Yell at me, shout at someone. When you yell at someone, shout at someone. Yell at. I think we talked it before. Shout. Okay. So from her front porch. So it was Mrs. Irvin who was friends with Rolly's mom. She must have thought I was Rolly because I was borrowing his coat, and I wasn't about to correct her either. Rolly Jefferson, the principal, is going to hear about this. Yes, ma'am. I forgot about the whole incident until today. Anyway, Mr. Weniski told Rolly he's going to have to apologize to the kindergarteners tomorrow morning, and that he's suspended from patrols for a week. So he cannot do it anymore. Suspended. So I knew I should probably just tell Mr. Weniski it was me who chased the kids with the worms. But I wasn't ready to set the record straight just yet. I knew if I confessed, the meaning of confess, guys, confess means admit. يعترف or acknowledge, right? Same meaning, right? I'd lose my hot chocolate privileges like perks. Perks, same meaning as privilege. Privileges or advantages. ميزات or مزايا. And that right there was enough to make me keep quiet for the time being. At dinner tonight, mom could tell something was bothering me. So she came up to my room after work to talk. I told her I was in tough situation and I didn't know what to do. I got to give mom credit for how she handled it. Give someone credit, like show someone appreciation, or actually, give to someone what they deserve. So she didn't try to pry and get all the details, but she said was that I should try to do the right thing because it's our choices that make us who we are. So she didn't try to pry and get all the details. Pry. So pry and get اكتبها كده كلها على بعضها get all the details. يعني ايه بقى؟ هنا حشري بقى. To interfere. تسوي ايه؟ interfere. محبتش انها تتدخل وتعرف كل التفاصيل تفصيلة تفصيلة زي كده ايه parents بيعملوا عندنا. Okay, to interfere. Okay, pry. So the pry, this is the one that we're looking for. Pry. So no another verb before it. اللي هي حشري بقى. Say حشري. Okay, I figure that's pretty decent advice, but I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to do tomorrow. Thursday. Well, I was up all night tossing and turning over this Rolly situation, but I finally made up my mind. Made up my mind, like I took my decision. I decided the right thing to do was to just literally take one of for the team this time around. I'm sorry, I terrorized your children. On the way home from school, I came clean with Rolly and told him the whole truth about what happened and how it was me who chased the kids with the worms. Then I told him there were lessons we could both learn from this. I told him I learned to be more careful about what I do in front of Mrs. Irvin's house, and that he learned a valuable lesson too, which is this: be careful about who you lend your coat to. So I guess this has been a learning experience for both of us. To be honest with you, my message didn't seem to be getting through to Rolly. Getting through to Rolly. Like he wasn't really convinced. We were supposed to hang out, to go out after school today, but he said he would just going to go home and take a nap. Nap, قيلولة. Well, like me, I want to take a nap actually. I couldn't really blame him because if I didn't have my hot chocolate this morning, I wouldn't have had much energy either. When I got home, mom was waiting for me at the front door. Did you do the right thing? Yeah. Mom took me out to get some ice cream as a special treat. Special treat. عملة خاصة بقى. Special treat, like, just to change your mood. And what this whole episode has taught me is that every once in a while, it's not such a bad idea to listen to your mother. Okay, slurb. Tuesday. So there was another announcement on the loudspeaker today, and to be honest with you, I kind of figured that this one was coming. Greg Heffley, please report to Mr. Wink's office or Winski's office. I knew it was just a matter of time before I got busted for what happened last week. Got busted, got caught. Busted, see meaning as caught. Afish, okay? It's Afish. She got busted for what happened last week. All right. And when I got to Mr. Weniski's office, he was really mad. Mr. Weniski told me that an anonymous source had informed him that I was the real culprit culprit in the worm chasing incident. Okay. Culprit. Get another synonym for it, guys. Shall we? Let's go. مش تجري على جوجل ترانزليت نيفر مش تجري على جوجل ترانزليت خالص لا اصبر كده تعلم تروح ايه رايح على طول على قاموس انجلش تروحش تترجم عربي خالص guys خالص are you sure yeah definitely okay طيب so culprit it's not a bad thing idea to listen to the pronunciation as well اسمع pronunciation اسمع النطق okay لما يجي بقى when accused or charged with a crime like accused أو تبقى متهم okay so the real is culprit and it's a noun by the way but when بقى
culprit,
accused culprit so guilty pleaded not guilty the culprit pleaded not guilty لا هو متهم هنا بقى accused or charged with a crime هو مش مذنب هو متهم بس فقط culprit when guilty of crime or fault يعني مذنب بتهمة okay أو ممسوك بتهمة and the culprit expressed remorse at this sentencing okay so criminal crook offender yeah we can say that so crook or crook as crook this is a really nice one crook criminal and sanu as well so culprit criminal crook offender person who already is guilty of a crime or a bad event all right or bad incident like this so he was the real culprit accused the one accused with this incident then he told me I was relieved of my safety patrol duties effective immediately. Well, it doesn't take a detective to figure out that the anonymous source was Rolly. I can't believe Rolly went and backstabbed me like that. Betrayed me. Backstabbed, like betrayed me. While I was sitting there getting chewed out by Mr. Weniski, chewed out on and I wabach chew out. Okay, like like offensive. I was thinking I need to remember to give my friend a lecture about loyalty. Okay, later on today, Rolly got reinstated as a patrol. Okay, so and get this, he actually got a promotion. Mr. Woniski said Rolly had exhibited dignity under false suspension. Okay, so I thought about Rolly Oh, I thought about really letting Rolly have it for rating me out. When we rat someone out, just actually say or, just give the secrets about the person. But then I realized something. In June, all the officers and the safety patrols go on a trip to Six Flags, and they get to take along one friend. I need to make sure Rolly knows I'm his guy. Let me get this for you, Captain. Tuesday, like I said before, the worst part of getting kicked off safety patrols is losing your hot chocolate privileges, perks. Every morning, I go to the back door of the cafeteria so Rolly can hook me up. But either my friend has gone deaf or he's too busy kissing the other officers' butts to notice me at the window. In fact, now that I think of it, Rolly has been totally giving me the cold shoulders lately, the cold shoulder. Not fadlo يعني. Okay, so giving him or give someone the cold shoulders, right? Or give him the cold shoulder, right? Ignore, doesn't pay attention to him, ignore or neglect someone, to ignore or neglect someone. And that's really lame, that's really weak or wacky because if I really correctly or I recall correctly, he's the one that told me out. Even though Rolly has been a total jerk, total idiot lately, I try to break the ice with him. Break the ice. To break the ice, to break the ice, to actually to communicate and connect someone or with people, not to be shy or anything. It means to break the ice. So I tried to break the ice with him today anyway, but even that didn't seem to work. Hey, pal. Pal is actually a close friend. Like pal, you can say pal, buddy, okay, dude. All these words are actually like, very common words. Okay, if a close friend, PFF. April. April. Let's get to April. Friday. Ever since the worm incident, Rolly has been hanging out with Colin Lee every day after school. What really stinks is that Colin is supposed to be my backup friend. Those guys are acting totally ridiculous. Ridiculous means really silly. For him, of course. Silly or wacky, okay, or ludicrous. All right, so these are words, the same meaning as ridiculous. Today, Rolly and Colin were wearing these matching t shirts, and it made me just about want to vomit. So, after dinner tonight, I saw Rolly and Colin walking up the hill together, chumming it up. So, Colin had his overnight bag, and so I knew they were going to do a sleepover at Rolly's. And I thought, well, two can play at that game. The best way to get back at Rolly was to get a new best friend of my own. But unfortunately, the only person who came to my mind right at that moment was Frigley. I went up to Frigley's with my overnight bag so Rolly could see I had other friend options too. When I got there, Frigley was in his front yard stabbing a kite with a stick. That's when I started to think maybe this wasn't the best idea after all. So, but Rolly was in his front yard and he was watching me, so I knew there was no turning back. I invited myself into Frigley's house. His mom said she was excited to see Frigley with a playmate, which was a term I wasn't not enthusiastic about, wasn't excited about. Okay. So me and Frigley went upstairs to his room. Frigley tried to get me to play Twister with him, so I made sure I stayed 10 feet away from him at all times. I decided that I should just pull the plug on this stupid idea and go home, but every day put the plug on. A really good expression, by the way. Pull the plug One, to click up, fly on someone. Two, just to blow off. Just blow off something. Just to, get it done, like finish this idea, or just forget about it. Pull the plug on this stupid idea and go home. Every time I looked out the window, Rolly and Colin were still in Rolly's front yard. I didn't want to leave until those guys went back inside, but things started to get out of hand with Friendly pretty quickly. When I was looking out the window, Friendly broke into my backpack and ate the whole bag of jelly beans I had in there. Friendly is one of these kids who's not supposed to eat any sugar, so 2 minutes later, he was bouncing off the walls. Oh my god. Fergie started acting like a total maniac, and he chased me all around his upstairs. Maniac. Crazy. Crazy guy. Okay. The same meaning as crazy. Maniac. Okay, so and he chased me all around his upstairs. طبعا طلع يجري ورا وقت والشارع upstairs. So I kept thinking he was going to come down off of his sugar high, but he didn't. Eventually, I locked myself in his bathroom to wait him out. Oh my god! I want to live in 30 to it got quiet out in the hallway. That's when Fergie slipped a piece of paper under the door. I picked it up and read it. Dear Gregory, I'm very sorry I chased you with a booger on my finger. Here I put it on this paper so you can get me back. So that's the last thing I remember before I blacked out. In black out, you actually fall out, like black out. يغمى عليك. Black out. Okay. To faint. Black out or faint. The same meaning. Okay. So black out or faint, like to just not be or to not to be or to not be conscious. Yeah, to not be conscious for sure. Okay, conscious. Oh, I came to my senses a few hours later after I woke up. I cracked the door open and I heard snoring coming from Frigley's room. Snoring only here. So I like yeah, just sleep and makes like a loud noise. So I decided to make run up for it. Mom and dad were not happy with me for getting them out of bed at 2 in the morning. But by that point I could really care less. It was snoring, snoring. Make noise while s- sleeping. Okay, so Monday. Well, me and Rolly have officially been ex friends for about a month now. And to be honest with you, I'm better off without him. I'm glad I can just do whatever I want without having to worry about carrying all that dead weight anymore or around. Lately, I've been hanging out in Roderick's room after school and going through this or his stuff. The other day, I found one of his middle school yearbooks. Roderick wrote on everybody's picture in his yearbook so you can tell how he felt about all the kids in his grade. So jerk, cool. So everyone in a while, or every once in a while, I see Roderick see all the classmates around town, and I have to remember to thank Roderick for making church a lot more interesting. You know, but the page in Roderick's yearbook that's really interesting is the class favorites page. So that's where they put pictures of the kids who got voted most popular and most talented and all that. Roderick wrote on his class favorites page too, most likely to succeed. Okay, so Bill Watson, Kathy, Nguyen. This class favorites thing has really got me my gears turning, my gut. Okay, gears turning, gut feelings. Okay, turning. So if you can get yourself voted onto the class favorites page, you're practically an immortal. Even if you don't live up to what you got picked for, it doesn't really matter because it's one permanent record. Okay, so he's always looking for fame. He's always looking to be celebrity. دايما بدور على ان هو يبقى TikTok famous like now. People still treat Bill Watson like he's something special, even though he ended up dropping out of high school. Drop out, when you leave school. Forgot before. So we still run into him and at the barn every once in a while. Will that be paper or plastic, ma'am? So here's what I'm thinking. The school year has been kind of a bust. Okay, just crazy thing. But if I can get voted as a class favorite, I'll go out on a high note. So I've been trying to think of a category that I have shot at. I have like a really good chance at. So most popular and most athletic are definitely out. So I'm going to have to find something that's a little bit more in reach. At first, I thought maybe I should wear really nice clothes for the rest of the year so I can get best dressed. But that would mean I would have to get my picture taken with Jenna Stewart, and she dresses like a pilgrim. So Wednesday, last night I was lying in bed and it hit me. I should go for class clown. It's not like I'm known for being real funny at school or anything, but if I can pull off one big prank, all right, before voting, prank اللي هي trick خدناها تقريبا. Let's write it down again. مقلب أو خدعة. Okay, so I can pull off one big prank right before voting that could do it. So let's stop here, guys. I think that's enough for today. So we're just gonna, the next session is gonna be the last session, inshallah. It's not gonna be, a lot of pages. Okay, but it's gonna, so I think كده فاضل حوالي like less than 20 pages, and it's really cool. You know, so we're gonna start with May and finish up this, one إن شاء الله نخلصها المرة الجاية بإذن الله في session number 9. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching. طبعا زي ما انت شايف كده هو هنا بيكتب الدايري بتاعته. اوكي، كل يوم بيكتب ايه اللي حصل في الحياة عموما او ايه اللي حصل في يوم. اوكي، فانت ممكن تعمل كده وتكتب عن نفسك كرايتن اكسرسايز عشان تحسن كمان من مهارة الكتابة بتاعتك. انت تكتب عن يومك، اوكي، وتسجل لنفسك عشان تشوف النطق بتاعك وتسمع نفسك وانت بتتكلم عشان تحسن من الاكسنت ويبقى عندك اكسنت خاصة بيك انت. والبرونسيشن بتاعك والبرونسيشن ميستيكس اهم حاجه ان انت تصلحها لنفسك وتشتغل على نفسك. It's all about self study guys. يعني be patient, practice, read more. يعني read it out loud زي ما بنعمل كده. طلع الكلمات الصعبه وترجمها بالانجلش وبعد كده اعرفها بالعربي، مفيش اي مشكله. اوكي، عشان يبقى عندك حصيله لغويه كبيره جدا في اسرع وقت. اوكي، وتقدر ان انت تتكلم وتمارس وما تخافش وانت بتتكلم. Don't be afraid to speak. Like you have to speak. Okay, you have to speak freely. يعني اتكلم من غير ما تقلق. طبعا ما تخافش من الغلط، ما تخافش من اللي انت تغلط. ما يعني it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. I make mistakes. Okay, انا بعمل mistakes لحد دلوقتي. انا English instructor. It's not a problem guys. Everybody makes mistakes. يعني انت لو اصلا ما غلطتش مش هتتعلم من اغلاطك ديت ومن اخطائك ديت، فمش هتتعلم بسرعة. اوكي، فانت انت خايف تتكلم عشان ما تغلطش، ده غلط. اوكي، التفكير ده اصلا غلط. اوكي، فلازم تقرا، لازم تسمع كتير، لازم يعني تشتغل على نفسك وتبقى عندك صبر. you have to be patient. يعني patience. لازم تبقى صبور وما تستعجلش، وان شاء الله الدنيا هتبقى سهله جدا معاك والدنيا هتبقى لذيذه جدا. تستخدم تطبيقات اللي انت تسجل لنفسك زي كيك وزي VOA Special American English. الحاجات دي كلها حاول تسمع على قد ما تقدر انجلش. حاول تقرأ كتير جدا. لو قرأت كل يوم كده نص ساعة في اليوم وسمعت نص ساعة واتفرجت على حاجة نص ساعة, you just need an hour or 2 hours a day every single day for 6 months. 6 شهور تعمل معجزات. يعني 6 شهور ده تحط رجلك على يعني مع التدريب طبعا والممارسة المستمرة. 6 شهور دول هيقدروا اللي انت تخليك تتكلم كويس، مرحلة كويسة جدا، وبعد كده بتطور طبعا وتوصل للفلونسي في أسرع وقت ممكن. maybe just in 9 months or 1 year 12 months all you need. اوكي، ان انت تماستر الانجليش اصلا وتتقن، يبقى عندك اكسنت كويسه جدا، قابل ان انت تتواصل وتكوميونيكيت with anyone في اي حاجه، وتتكلم في اي موضوع بطلاقه وبدون اي مشاكل، بدون اي تفكير بالعربي. خلاص تبقى اوريدي بتفكر بالانجليش، فالدنيا هتبقى سهله جدا. فاتمنى ان الكورس عجبكم، قولوا لي رايكم في الكومنتات. and يعني thank you for all your support guys. I love you all so much. See you next time بإذن الله.